On today's show, we speak to Karin, a naturally claircognizant quantum healer with a wealth of experience in energy healing, mindfulness, and spiritual guidance. We will explore the profound impact of tapping into one's own innate abilities, the journey of self-healing, and how understanding and embracing our energy fields can transform our lives. Journey with us as we delve into Karin's unique approach to healing, her personal story of overcoming deep challenges, and her mission to help others find peace and empowerment in their lives. And don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button, or check us out at www.sacredu, that's the letter U, .love for more valuable resources. May you enjoy today's conversation.
Hello, Karin, and welcome to the Pathways to Wellbeing podcast. It's really lovely to have you here, and it's very nice to meet you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too, Helen. Hi.
Hi. Now, you're joining us all the way from across the other side of the world. Are you in Amsterdam?
No, I'm not in Amsterdam. I'm in the Netherlands, but in the eastern side of the more rural part of Netherlands.
Beautiful. Sounds lovely.
Yeah,
So
it is lovely.
Good. I've had a bit of a look at your bio and on your website, and one of the things that really jumped out at me that I would love to ask you about, if that's okay, because I know you're certified in a lot of different things. You've got a lot of experience over a wide range of things, but the one that really caught my attention, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, is that you said you are a naturally claircognizant quantum healer.
Yes.
What does that mean, Karin?
It means that I was born with the ability of claircognizance. You have clairvoyance, clairsentience. The clairsentience is the feeling, being able to feel others. Clairvoyance is the ability to see beyond the visible, and claircognizance is the knowing of things. It's like the umbrella of all other clairaudience, clairsentience, clairvoyance. And it's knowing things that you cannot possibly know normally by seeing them, feeling them, hearing them, smelling them, tasting them beyond the visible, tangible world.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't even realize there were so many different clair things. Heard of clairvoyance.
A lot of clarity to be gained.
Yeah, exactly. So what does that mean in your day-to-day life? How does that show up for you?
That has been a very long and deep process. As a child, I realized, I see things and I know things that perhaps I should not be talking about because it's not similar to what other people seem to experience, and it creates triggers and unwelcome situations, especially because I was raised in a very unsafe environment. So I learned to keep it to myself. But,
so is it like premonition, or is it knowledge, or is it a combination of things?
Premonition, I would say sometimes I have memories of the future.
Right.
It sounds really strange, but it's like knowing how things will unfold. It's like seeing it like a movie, and it's a knowing. And it's not something I can, how will this end? How will this go? When I want to control it, especially when there's some fear behind it. Oh, will this go my way? Will this go good for me or for them? Or then you cannot control it. It just happens.
Yeah.
So
that would be quite difficult to how do you stay out of it? If you've seen this thing that's going to happen, whether it's good or bad, how do you stay out of it to not alter how it actually plays out?
I don't really feel like I have to control it. When I know it, I just know it, and I take it just as information. For example, I've worked with, I don't know if it's the right term in English now, but disabled people, with mentally and physically disabled people. Disabled is not really the word I like to use, but I don't know. And when I was working with these people, they were also, the group that I work with were older people. And I just knew in moments, oh, this person is going to pass in a few weeks. I could see it, I could smell it in a
Yep.
way, if that makes sense. I just knew, but it was not something that I wanted to control. For me, it was just a knowing and spoil them a little bit more.
Did you
This-
pass that information on, or this is what you were saying before? You learnt what you can say, what you should say,
yeah.
what you should keep to yourself. Yeah, that would come with a lot of experience, I would imagine.
The place that I worked, sometimes I did say things. It was in my process, it was years ago, and it was in my process of learning to speak up, but it was not accepted.
Yeah.
It was completely denied and ignored. And so for me, it was okay, but that doesn't mean that I cannot say it. So I learned to, of course, you make a difference. Is it useful to say it? It's not that I'm going to explain things to people that I know will not be interested to listen, but it doesn't mean that I cannot say things like I know it or I feel it.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, it's a kind of balance, finding the balance between how
you
much information you share and how much you keep to yourself.
You'd
Yeah.
be a great diplomat, I would imagine, being able to explain things and keep that nice balance between, like what you said, what is useful
Yeah, that's been a learning journey.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes you overshare and you think, ah, maybe I shouldn't have said it. And sometimes you think, oh, maybe I should have shared more. It's still a learning journey. It never ends, I think.
And so how do you do that with clients? Is this something that you offer to them to do for them? How does that work with other people, or is it not other people? Is it just you are just receiving this information and then you do with it whatever?
No, in my practice, I started my practice 5, 6 years ago. And how it works, people come to me because they experience depression, anxiety, burnout, relationships problems. Maybe they have had an accident, they have chronic pain, chronic illness. It doesn't really matter what the story is, but they come to me. And one of the things of Claircognizance is that people carry a lot of stories,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell a lot of stories because they think the story is really relevant. Like this happened, and then that happened, and this person said that and that. But I really go to the center of it all. Like
Mm-hmm.
I shift the stories and I go to the essence of what is happening, the pattern, really the underlying pattern. And I you have to imagine everyone has a field of energy around them. And this energy is all information, like their thoughts, their emotions, their physical state of being. I can pick up the pain, like in physical. So I feel, oh, this person really has a lot of headache often. This person is constantly repeating this kind of thoughts, or pick up on emotions of them. And because I overlap their energy field, so we become one in that moment. And I transmute the energy, so the person on the couch or on the table will feel space to relax. And then the tension and the pain will transmute.
Yeah.
Does it make sense still?
It does, yeah, it does.
It's creating the space for them to relax enough to have their energy flowing again. And they experience, like in the moment, a shift in energy. Yeah, that makes them feel better. And when they don't have to understand what happens, but doing this more and more, they will learn to understand by experience. Oh, when I relax, my energy starts to flow much better and the tension goes away. And when the tension goes away, the pain goes away because my self healing energy is working again. And I'm not ill, I'm not broke, I'm not to be fixed. There's nothing wrong with me. I just need to let the energy flow.
Just had a
It's
block
just,
in energy,
yeah,
that's all. Yeah.
yeah, that really is all. And the more and the longer we are blocked from this energy because we hold on to tension and hold on to stories and hold on to resistance, the more ill we get. And then we translate it like our body is wrong. My body is ill. It doesn't work. No, your body is perfect. But it's a message to let go
Yeah.
of tension, of negative thoughts, of negative beliefs. of really stress in the body, relaxing the muscles.
Fantastic. And I love what you said
Yeah.
before, Karen, about how you go through the story to get to the actual what's the problem is, because the stories is just how we happen to get to the belief or the feeling or the whatever it is that's going on for us. And it's like you can have 20 women in a room, they'll all have very different stories, experiences, but they will all have at their essence, the hurt is the same, or what's blocking them is
Exactly.
the same.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
fantastic, because the story, like you said, is what keeps us stuck as well. It's like we keep in this pattern of stuckness, but you're just like unblocking the pipe to, instead of keep going round in circles, it gets to actually go out. I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yes. Thank you.
So another thing that you mentioned, not in this conversation, but previously, you'd said that one thing that you wrote down in was that you want people to have the magical feeling of experiencing the great by keeping things small. What do you mean by that?
Good question. Yeah, it's really related to what I just explained. I think when we are all full of the stories, we're also full of negative beliefs. And a lot of people feel disconnected, unhappy, unfulfilled. And we believe that happiness is something outside of ourselves. Like when I have this relationship, when I have this car, when I have this big house, when I have this, I will be happy. And we have these big dreams, which, of course, it's wonderful to have big dreams. But when you are in a state of lack, the deeper you are in a state of lack, the more you wish for something big and magical. And I wish it were like that. But you cannot manifest what you desire from the state of lack. It's too, you cannot, if you walk the stairs, you cannot go from the bottom stairs to the top in one jump. You have to go step by step. And by seeing the small things in your life, maybe your life is miserable, maybe you feel very unhappy, maybe you have big issues. But by seeing, even in the whole miserable thing, the whole most miserable story, by seeing the small things that are good for you. Oh, the sun came up this morning. It's for free. Oh, I had this very nice conversation with a person that really lifts my spirit. Oh, I see this beautiful flower. Oh, I love this song. When you have these little moments, which really are very big, but the little moments that you enjoy, you come in a different state of energy. You come more in a state of, the other stories, I lack this and I need this to have happiness. But then you come in, oh, I like this. I want more of this. Instead of resisting this negative state and trying to be in another state, you go to a more receptive state of wanting more of what you're already experiencing. And that is the only way you can manifest more of it. So it will open up the door. Vision closes the door. It's impossible. Yeah. So by experiencing the small thing, you enjoying the small things, you open up to the great feelings of happiness and like that.
You are speaking my language, Karen. I love everything about the law of attraction and having that high resonance, taking the time to appreciate. Like you said, it's the small things, they're not actually small things,
No,
because
exactly.
everything adds up to be something quite amazing. And the more you get into that habit of looking for the good things, being in gratitude. And if you can't be in gratitude, because sometimes it's hard to be grateful when you're not feeling very happy, at least appreciate that. Yeah, the sun came up today. The earth's still spinning,
exactly.
breathing. There's always something we can appreciate, and it makes such a difference.
It does. Yeah, it really does. It's interesting what you say about when you experience the other side, the negative things, because there's one thing I will always say to people: to be careful, be grateful, but don't try to bypass negative feelings. It's a little bit tricky. When you want to focus on the positive, you tend to learn, oh, I should always be positive because then I'm spiritual. And that is not really how it's meant. That's not really how it's meant. So when you
you
experience
can't
negative,
deny You can't
No, you don't
deny
have
the
to deny
emotions
it or
because then it
suppress
builds
it
up.
or exactly. Rather, okay, I feel negative. How does it feel in my body? Where can I relax? And when you relax a little more, you will, oh, nice feeling. Ah, and the sun shines. Oh, a beautiful flower. And then you open up again. But you cannot repress it or deny it because it works counterproductive.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think too, sometimes you have to make some changes in your external world. Maybe
Yeah,
you need to set some boundaries. Maybe you do actually need to
exactly.
get a different job or hang around different people. There's always something that triggers the negative emotion. And it's just your, well, I feel it's just your body's way of saying, hey, you need to do something different because you keep doing
Exactly.
this, it's not going to work for you. So it's like a little GPS to get you
Yes,
back on track.
exactly. That's how
Mm,
I also always translate it. Your emotions are your compass. They're not wrong or right. They're just telling you when I go this way in thinking or acting or behaving, whatever, it's working not good for me. It's not healthy for me. And when I go the other way, and it feels pleasant and relaxing and it opens me up, hey, then I'm on the right road for me. Then it's healthy for me. And
yeah,
then
definitely.
whatever you need to let go, it may be your own thoughts, your own beliefs that you have to let go because they create resistance and tension. But sometimes it's people,
Mm,
relationships that are not healthy for you. It's not that the people are wrong, but they're not right for you,
yeah,
at least in the moment.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. It's an interesting concept, the whole right, wrong, good, bad, and
yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation. And also, I think redefining how we look at emotions as well as I'm not sure what it was like in the Netherlands, but certainly in Australia when you're growing up, good girls do not hate. Hate is a
yeah,
bad word, and you do not ever hate anyone. What if they've done something really awful? Hate
yeah,
is just an emotion. Why are boys allowed to hate, but girls aren't allowed to hate? Why are boys
yeah,
allowed to be angry, but girls aren't allowed to be angry?
yeah,
So it's sometimes we've got to re-look at how we even view emotions. And they're
yeah.
just emotions. That's all it is. It's just a word
Exactly.
describing
It's the way
feeling.
you use them.
Yes.
I just created a video about it recently, about the healing power of anger.
Mm,
Because, like you say, anger is just an emotion, and you just need to feel it and to see the message within. And when you repress it, it's going to make you ill because the message still wants to be heard.
yeah.
So it's going to translate, and it's going to be as difficult and nasty experience as it needs to be to wake you up. Yeah, and in the Netherlands, I see it in my practice on a regular basis that people that come to me from all ages still struggle with feeling free and safe to express their emotions because, like you say, there's a lot of, I'm not sure what the word for it is, but girls should be like this, boys should be like that. Boys
Yes.
are also not allowed to be emotional because that's
That's
weak.
right. Boys
Boys
don't
should be
cry.
tough.
Yeah,
No, boys don't cry. They do.
they do.
And they
They
should.
do. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Oh, good. No, that's fantastic because I know that you are very passionate about helping people to get more peace in their life, to get that feeling relaxed and to heal themselves and to be empowered. So, are there particular things that you do or you suggest to people to be able to heal themselves and get more happiness into their lives?
yeah. In my practice, I treat a person in the moment, so they experience what relaxation does for them, and we also practice. I do breath work and body work, and mm, depending on the person in front of me, I suggest what may fit them, what they should or could practice when they ask me for it. Some people just want to experience my healing session, and other people are like, what can I do? How can I help
Yeah.
myself more? So it depends on the person, but there's a lot of things like body work and when I treat a person, when I'm in their energy field, I see particular things as well. And I may say to a person, walk more like a barefoot, go walk with barefoot on the grass or in the sand. it helps you release tension. It helps you ground. Or, oh, I feel you should drink more water. Or maybe it's a good thing to have a good sleeping pattern. Or I may suggest all kind of things. People may talk about relationships and ask me for advice. And you could kindly suggest things without pushing them. It's not up to me, of course, but suggest, does this relationship bring you peace overall, or does this relationship bring you stress overall? And then they can answer that and, okay, without me telling them, you should leave that person. That's not up to me.
Exactly. Because people are only going to share as much as they want to share. And obviously you've got these other skills, you can pick up on things. And it's nice that you do it in a way that you're just posing questions to them to maybe get them to think a bit differently or to see it from a different perspective so that they can come to their own conclusion. Because at the end of the day, being empowered means that you don't have to rely on somebody else. So if you can help them to know, that it's okay, that you can trust your own decisions, that you're allowed to feel and that you're allowed to do all of these things, I think that really helps them grow and become stronger people.
Yeah, that is the essence of my mission, to help people connect with their body and feel safe in their body and their emotions and their own GPS, like you call it. If you're more comfortable with that, you have everything in the knowledge you need. I don't need to tell you anything. I can suggest things, and sometimes I trigger people. I can be very direct as well. So yes, sometimes I do trigger them when I feel like they're really stuck and I need to hurt them a little bit.
To be able to, sometimes the clog
confront
is
them.
really thick and you need to give that little bit of push. And I think people who interpersonal development, they actually want that. They want somebody who can help them to become the better version of themselves, for want of a better way of saying it, to come back to who they actually truly are on the inside.
Happier, healthier version of themselves.
So and they need a little bit of a push. And that, I think, is what's a common thing in people who are very influential and transformational, that they don't buy into the story, that they see the person for who they truly are and they help them to realize that for themselves. It's how people are going to grow and get back to that inner peace and not continue to stay stuck in those cycles that they know are really not good for them, but they just need that little bit of help to get there.
Exactly. And it's people, of course, when they come to me, they know a little bit about me because they read the website and they're a little bit prepared in a way, but it's very intimate. They know if I see and feel things, they know it's a little bit scary also. I notice it with people and they often tell me I was a little bit nervous because I don't know what you're going to see. And so it's very intimate. So I have to know my place. I have to know, it's really about boundaries, healthy boundaries, and being careful with the information that I receive. I can observe. And to a certain height, I'm allowed to respond to that in honesty with a certain intention. But it's a lot they share. So it's very intimate.
Yes, I can imagine. So you must create a very safe space for them. And they obviously feel very safe with you and they trust you, which is such an important thing, because you do need to be a bit vulnerable to be able to go where you need to go to get the healing that you need to get.
Yeah, absolutely. To open up and to,
Exactly. So we might just take a little step backwards, because at the start of this, I just dived into what I wanted to know about what you did, because I find it absolutely fascinating. But can you share a little bit about you? Share your story and, how you got from where you were to where you are now.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I think, or was it with Sophia? I'm not sure. I grew up in a very unsafe, toxic family environment. with a narcissistic mother that has always tried to disempower me because of jealousy, envy, trying to, yeah, she had really humiliating and violent ways of controlling. So for me, being very sensitive, even if I was not sensitive, it was very difficult being
I can
me
imagine.
and accepting myself. Because if your mother does not accept you and says you're unlovable and you're the devil, you're like,
Mm.
huh? That's not who I thought I believe I am. So it's very confusing. But luckily, I have always been very spiritual since I was born.
Yeah.
So I also understood that I was here, even when I was very little child. I understood that I was here to heal a toxic pattern. So that helped
Wow.
me.
Yeah.
That helped me to always stay a little bit, at least a little bit connected to my true self, even though I did lose myself later in life in depression and all that and illness and stuff like that. But in general, I can say that is what kept me true to myself, in essence.
Yeah.
So I learned that because of her, she was your biggest enemy is your biggest teacher how to heal yourself and how to stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
So she has been my helper in that way. And I did understand that, although not in every moment in my life it felt that way. Of course, I did feel victim, of course, and I
Yeah.
struggled with that, of course. But yeah, I have always tried to remember that and use that.
Well, I
So
think, yeah, and I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that because we all, at some stage, I feel, have gotten lost to varying degrees. So, how did so you went down that path of feeling lost and being depressed. I think you also had chronic PTSD. And you said you had a lot of illness as well. So, what did you do to turn that around?
yeah, it started. Yeah, where did it start? It's always difficult to decide did my healing journey start. But I could say when I was in my early 20s and I finally, or half 20s, I realized that I was done with feeling that way. And I knew I had to heal for many years, but I did reach a point that I feel like enough is enough. And I have to use my love, my abilities, and everything that I see around me, my passion for animals, nature. I have so much. Let's not focus on what I never had, but let's focus on everything that I have and that there is in nature. With my animals, I started working with dogs and sheltering for animals, and that became my drive to get up in the mornings when I felt like I didn't want to get up. And going through that healing step by step, you feel like, yeah, this is working. So, yeah,
Yeah.
keep doing that. And you teach yourself on and in touch with more spiritual communities. And I recognized things that when I was a child, for example, I was locked up a lot of times in a small room, so I did not have freedom. But I used that to meditate and to do the yoga. I did not know the words yoga or meditation, but I did it intuitively to calm myself and to connect to myself. And I always had very much, as a starseed, I always felt very deeply connected to the universe and the stars. So even when I was locked in a space of 2 by 2, I felt free because it was
Oh,
just a story. It was just a story.
yeah.
My family, it's just a story. Remember who you really are. So and that when I was later in life through the spiritual community, I learned, oh, that really exists. It's not my imagination. It's not just, oh, other people do that too. Oh, how great. Oh, it's called this, it's called that. Oh, I read in books about it. Wonderful. But for me, it was like a sort of homecoming. I already knew that and I
Yeah.
experienced that. So how great is that? And then I felt like it was a certain validation of myself and my passion and my strength. And I felt more and more growing into this mission. I want to share this because I know how it helped me from here to there. So I want to share it because if it helped for me, why shouldn't it help for somebody else?
Exactly.
So I
Exactly. If
grew
you
out of
can do it,
yeah.
if you can do
Yeah.
it, somebody else can do it. And I love that story, Karin. It's just, we all have choice. And even when we feel like there's no choice, that's a choice to give up. And it doesn't matter what's going on around you. You've got that freedom inside your mind and inside your imagination and what you do. And it reminds me of a story about a lady called Alice Sumner. She was in one of the concentration camps, and how she just kept that positive, beautiful, optimistic outlook in such a horrific environment. And she lived to be over 100 because of her positive mindset. So I think it's fantastic that it's great to be reminded of these things. And even if you don't think you can do it, you're just a human. We're all humans. And if another human can do it, that means that you can do it. But you've got to
Yeah.
want to do it. And you've got to want to put yourself first and be a little bit selfish and really focus on you.
Yeah, and because I know that it can be very hard, even if you know this and if you understand this, at times you can get so overwhelmed with sadness and
Mm.
pain and disappointment that sometimes you lose the vision, so to speak. And I think that the combination where I can help people is not just understanding the other side, but also understanding how difficult it can be once you are closed off, when you're in a
Yeah.
deep state of disbelief.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Because
yeah,
it can be so overwhelming that you can't
yes,
see any way out. But it's
and that is the
wonderful that,
most crucial moment. Really, when
yes,
you're on the bottom of the well, that is the most crucial moment of shifting, of making a choice. Do I
mm,
stay on the floor and give up, or do I think I'm here anyway? Let's go up.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, nothing to lose. Because I reached
Exactly.
that point too. I have reached that point too. It cannot get any worse. Probably can. What
Yeah,
else do I have to lose? You have to reach that
yeah.
point where, what else do I have to lose? It's the worst I can imagine already. So I have only to win, but I have to focus on what I can win.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. And everybody, like you said, everybody has to get to that decision moment
yeah,
themselves.
yeah,
And you don't have to be all the way at the bottom of the well. You could be maybe halfway down, three
yeah,
quarters. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. It's making that decision to put your own happiness first. And
yeah,
once you do
absolutely.
that, then you can start to shift your thinking. And the more you shift it, the more the momentum goes and the more you get addicted to that good feeling, and then you can climb out. But I love that you've had that experience where you can really relate to people and really understand where they are, but also show them what's possible for them. And I think that's the most uplifting thing that anyone can do, is to be able to have compassion and also show them the path out.
Yeah, yeah. I love doing it. I love helping people that way. I love it
Mm,
when I see small effects or in a moment. You can see a shift in a moment, and it's wonderful to experience and to witness.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very fulfilling.
Yeah, it is. It is absolutely.
Oh, this has been fantastic speaking with you. It's so interesting. Is there anything that you'd like to, before we wrap it up, is there anything you'd like to add? Are there any tips, any suggestions that you'd like to give people, or words of wisdom?
Yeah, there's a lot of things you could say, but the first thing that comes to mind in a moment is go into nature. Connect with nature, connect with animals, because you don't even have to understand how this works, but you will feel it. You will feel the
Yeah,
effect of it. So you don't have to go to a big nature if you don't have it in the area, but even a pond or a small park or anything like that can be enough. So
yeah.
yeah, everything is around you. Look at what you already have around you. There's always something that can uplift your spirit.
It's so funny you said that, because I was just this afternoon, had the front door open and the sun was coming in, and there was this gap of sun just as wide as the door. And it's
Wow.
cold here at the moment. We're in winter and I'm not used to the cold. So I sat down in the sun. I had my cup of lemon ginger tea because I needed to warm my hands up. And our dog came and sat on my lap. And we just sat
Oh,
there in the sun. And it was
oh, that's
so beautiful. I'm getting a little bit emotional. I don't know why, but it was just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was so beautiful. Yeah.
that's moments of heaven. Oh, I see. Really, yeah.
Oh,
Wonderful.
dear.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so simple things is, I guess, the message in that. Simple things can just make you feel incredible.
Lovely.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. Ah, dear. Karen, how can people work with you? Or do you have anything that you'd like to, do you have any packages or workshops or anything that you'd like to promote?
I'm currently working on an online program where I am going to share my 5 keys of, it's not like steps, but it's focus points on how to heal yourself from trauma to joy.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that. And other than that, I have my practice. But also, yeah, obviously, when you're in Australia, you're a bit too far away. But I also do online sessions with people. So it's worldwide.
Perfect.
And yeah, I hope soon that I can share my program. That would be nice.
Keep us posted and we'll be able to put some links below this video, I'm sure, where people can get in contact with you. And it's amazing. I just love how we're on opposite sides of the world, but we can still connect. So you're able to work with
Yeah.
people. It doesn't matter where they are. You just got to get the time zone right. And it's easy.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's the wonder of the miracle of technology.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Karen. I've really enjoyed chatting with you and getting to know a little bit more about what you do.
Likewise.
And it's been fantastic. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for making time for talking to me. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Hope to talk to you soon again one day.